Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 16th of May 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's afternoon session where we're going to have a look at markets, a few quick review of some of the instruments that we looked at earlier. But as always, before we start jumping into the charts, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is the FTSE100. Now the FTSE is having a great time recently, so especially from the 14th of May, as you can see, it reversed from this level, from the 7,150, and now it's kind of traveling higher. It's breaking this another key important area of resistance near the 7,280, at the same time placing itself back above this 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. So in other words, everything's looking quite promising here for the FTSE, at least in the short run. We could see maybe this one traveling further up here. Now let's also not forget that we're still trading below this downside resistance line taken from the high of May 2018. So from the highest point of May, this downside resistance line continues to run here. And now I do understand we did have a nice breakthrough here, but as you can see that it kind of, after a few days, it quickly got back below it and continued sliding lower. So we will keep this downside resistance line just for our future reference, just in case it does respect it again. But for now, looking at the index where it is right now, it's currently sitting just slightly above the 7,300 level. It is currently aiming for this other key important area of resistance near the 7,340, marked by the low of the 2nd of May. And if that fails to withhold, of course, we could then be targeting slightly higher levels. We could see this one as a little obstacle here, the 7,370, but a slightly better one could be sitting here near the 7,420 zone. So this is also where the index could basically hit this downside resistance line, and of course the price could stall around here as well, and then we'll just take it from there, see what he wants to do further. But just to quickly recap everything what I just said, so basically, in other words, we are still kind of aiming for higher levels. The only thing is that we may see maybe a small correction before another leg of buying here. So in a way, we could see something like this here. So from the very short-term perspective, in a way, there could be a chance of seeing maybe a small retracement back down. If the index continues to trade above the 7,280 zone, that's great news for the buyers. We could see more of them jumping in, or in other words, actually them starting to jump in here, but more of them could start jumping in if we see the index breaking above this 7,340 level. So but for now, we're just going to keep it like this, keep this scenario in our heads. In other words, also, what we could see here is something like this happening, where the index could travel higher, test the 7,340, and then retrace. So basically, we could see that retracement before. Sorry, the retracement after we hit this 7,340. That's the kind of the second scenario here. But still in both of those scenarios, what we're waiting for here is, of course, a break above the 7,340 level. This way, the index could open some higher levels, these ones that I've talked about just recently, and we can then target this downside resistance as well. So for now, guys, continue observing the price action. Let's see how this is going to end the day. If it's going to start drifting lower a little bit, then yep, we could consider this possible scenario where we could see a test of the 7,200 and 7,290 level first. And if it continues to hold, that's great. We could see a reversal and a push higher again. If it starts failing, and if we see the index dropping below the 7,280, and then of course if the 200 EMA fails to withhold the price action here, then, well, I mean, a drop below this could potentially lead towards another decline here, and maybe we could revisit this area here near the 7,150 level. So let me just quickly put this one, just highlight it for our future reference, but basically keep your eyes on this. Keep your eyes on this level if we see a drop back below the 200 EMA, guys. So keep your eyes on this one. Jumping into UK oil, which is Brent, and I've talked about this one this morning, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this level right here, as this is going to be very important, a very important area of resistance. The 72.30, as you can see, we've managed to pierce that one through. The day is not finished yet, so let's see how this is going to continue playing out here. Currently the price is sitting at its R1 for today, and of course it could continue traveling higher. The R2 is around the 73.30 zone, also good potential target here for resistance, also not far from the intraday swing high here of the 26th of April. So good potential target, but only if we see a further push away here to the upside, away from this R1, and then we will target the R2, which is around the 73.30 zone, approximately around there. That's of course in terms of the upside. Currently, it is difficult slightly right now to talk about the downside, because it isn't making this nice push here through this key area of resistance at 72.30. Let's see if it can continue, but if it can remain trading above this level today, then we will be targeting slightly higher levels like the 73.95 or even further than that. So in other words, guys, for now we are more bullish than bearish on this one. Let's say if suddenly this reverses back down and drops and stays for the day, it stays below the 72.30, well, this is where it could become a little bit nasty here for Brent oil. We could see a slide here towards this tentative upside support line, but if that fails to withhold, a break below it could send this commodity towards the 200 EMA initially, and then towards a possible test of the 70.40 level. So keep your eyes on this one. That level was the low of the 15th of May, so basically, in other words, yesterday's low. So for now, of course, like I said, the downside is slightly off the table, but again, we need to see that nice good clear close above this 72.30. If we do get that, then we will continue targeting higher levels. Jumping into another commodity, or in other words, precious metal. Now, I've talked about this one this week, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this downside resistance line, which of course got broken this on Monday, but what I was saying as well, that we may see a small retracement back down here, even actually going all the way here towards this downside resistance line to test it from above. And just look at that perfect touch here today. Look at that perfect hit here, from which the commodity now is rebounding and trying to push back up. We are going to remain cautiously bullish on this one, but if this starts pushing back above the 1296, and then ideally if it gets a nice good push above the 1301 zone, this is where it could become a little bit more exciting for even more bulls, and we could see a further push here higher towards the 1310 or even above that. But for now, continue observing this one. We are not even going to consider the downside. We will only consider the downside if we would see a nice four-hour candle close here below the 1288 zone. So only then, if we see a drop below the 200 EMA as well here, this is when we will consider a possible move down here to test maybe this upside support line, this medium-term upside support line that has been running here for quite a while. And to be more precise, that's kind of running here from the low of the 15th of August. So keep your eyes on this line, but only if we start seeing a drop below the 1288 and below this 200 EMA. For now, we are expecting this one maybe to reverse back up, but then again, we will, like I said, we will take a more cautious approach and wait until we see a push back towards the 1300 level and then a nice break above the 1301, and this is where we will get more excited about the upside. Crypto, Bitcoin now had a nice run. Of course, yesterday we saw this one, today we saw this one pushing higher, but as you can see, it kind of quickly dropped back below the 8,200 level, and now it's currently sitting around the 7,770 zone. So previously it acted as a good area of support. This level here, the 7,770, kind of it's coming back from way back here in history. So basically, initially it was a nice area of resistance here on the 3rd of June 2018, or in other words, the highest point of June of 2018. Then it was also tested here on the 15th of October of last year. And yep, now we're seeing this one, the price is kind of stalling around this level, around here, but this time, of course, from above. Let's see if it actually continues to hold, because if it continues to hold, yep, we could see a nice reversal here, a push higher. The only thing is that for us to get more excited about the upside, we need to see that nice good pop above the 8,200 level. Ideally, we would like to see a close of the 4-hour candle above this level. Then we could target slightly higher levels, the 8,500 level. This is what could play out nicely, but above that there are some good levels as well, like the 8,888, very beautiful number here. And just to kind of show you what that level was here in the past, that's basically the high of around the 14th of May. So basically keep your eyes on this one. So around the 14th of May last year, this is where the crypto got held from pushing higher, but we will only consider this level this time if we see initially, of course, a break above the 8,200, and then of course a clearance of the 8,500. But for now, guys, it's sitting where it's sitting. In terms of the downside, well, I mean, it would be difficult, let's say, to say that this is going to roll over here and drop lower. Even if it drops below the 7,770 zone, still the last resort kind of for the bulls to step in here could be around the 7,450 mark by this high, the high of the 12th of May. But if that fails to withhold, now this is where probably more sellers could start coming in and potentially driving this one lower towards the 6,855 zone or even further down. For now, these are the levels that we're keeping a close eye on. Let's see how this is going to play out further down the line. GBPUSD, I talked about this one this morning, and basically we're still trading above this 1.2830 zone, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on it, because if this starts breaking, this is where it could turn out to be ugly for GBPUSD. It could slide lower, it could eventually aim for the 127.85 zone, or slightly below that, the 1.2770 area. Now these levels, we need to go back here a little bit, and these are basically the lows here that we saw, the lows of February this year. So these could be revisited again, but for now, as you can see, the bulls are trying to fight back. They're trying to push the pair back above this S1. I mean, the pair is currently sitting at its S1. Let's see if the bears actually have enough steam to push this one a little bit further here towards these February lows. If they do, now this is where the rate could stall, maybe temporarily. Maybe we could see a small rebound from this area as well. Could be a nice level to test. For now, we're probably going to continue observing this one. Of course, we are more bearish than bullish on this one, but to be honest, it's a very close call here, because it's already quite oversold on the shorter time frames, and we could see maybe a reversal earlier. The only thing is that we're not going to speculate speculate on this one too much. What we're going to do here is just sit and wait here before we see a nice good push above the 1.2865. We're gonna wait for this level to get broken first before we could consider higher levels again. So for now, guys, continue observing this one. Of course, this does have more chances to travel further down to test these February lows here, but if it gets stalled around here, we may see maybe a small correction back up here. If we do see something like that, then we will target this area again, the 1.2830, this time of course from underneath, and then we'll just take it from there, see if it actually wants to continue pushing higher, or actually this downside resistance line is going to hold again, and we will see another leg of selling. And the last pair very quickly for the session, USDJPY. So very interesting here, and basically it is trying to push higher. It's now kind of formed a higher low here. You can see that it's kind of flirting with this key area of resistance near the 109.70. It's currently kind of balancing slightly above it. It did have a nice overshoot here, tested the R1 and quickly you can see that the bears are kind of pushing this one back down, or at least trying to push it back down. Let's see if actually they do have enough power to push it back, because in a way this is looking quite, let's say, positive, somewhat positive right now, but we need to see that nice good close of the 4-hour candle, at least of the 4-hour candle, above this 109.70 level before we could consider further acceleration here to the upside. This is where we will aim for the 110 zone, or even the 110.25 level. So but like I said, again, I'll repeat myself, we need to see that nice good close of the 4-hour candle above the 109.70. If it remains below this is our little neutral territory between the 109.70 and the 109.3029, something like that, approximately there. We need to see basically drop below this 109.29 before we could initially aim for these Monday's lows. If we do see a push like that, and if we do see a move like that, then we'll be very cautious here, because if it breaks below the 109 zone, well, then this could turn out to be ugly for USDJPY. We could see another forthcoming lower low here, and potentially maybe a move towards the 108.50. So the 108.50 acted as a very good area of support here back in January, on the last day of January, from which the pair kind of rebounded and pushed higher. So in other words, guys, for now, from the very short-term perspective, of course, we are more positive than negative. The only thing is that for that positivity for us, we need to see that nice good close above this 109.70. If it doesn't, this is going to be our little neutral territory. But if it starts breaking below the 109.29, now this is where we'll take a very cautious approach here. This may travel lower, and if it breaks below the 109 zone, then yep, it could turn out to be ugly for USDJPY, at least in the short run. Okay, guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. And if you want to join me tomorrow morning at my Trader's Espresso, as always, 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, I hope you have a wonderful evening, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.